Hi, this is Ezekiel. So this is a brand new show that I'm starting. This is something where I call an AFMFX show. So this is going to be a weekly series where I'll be going through the happenings that is happening in the market itself. I'll be touching on what works, what doesn't work. I'll be going through strategies, system, tips, tricks, the ongoing happenings that is happening in the market. For example, what is happening right now, what has happened before, what is going to happen in upcoming week, for example. It could be an election, it could be, I don't know, it could be, for example, there could be a big news that is coming, or maybe Donald Trump just make an impact, and where is the market going to head to. So this is something that I hope that we can be in line, such that this can be an ongoing weekly series that I hope you can follow with me together. So this is something that I will go through and cover perhaps what is going to happen in the upcoming news that we are about to see, for example. This I will also be going through live charts itself. So for example, it could be a setup that happened and how should we tackle certain setups. It could be setups that is happening, how should we tackle them. And of course, I will be willing to more than be happy to entertain, to answer any questions that you may have in regards to your trading. How is it working? How is it not working, for example? I'll be willing to share them all in this FX show itself. So this is something that is I like to commit as much as possible. So this will be an ongoing weekly series, and I'll be more than glad to hear your feedback and comments and what would you like to cover on the next show itself. So today, since this is the first lesson, so I'd like to touch on something that relates to each and every one of us, and that is what I call, or everybody know it as, the big E. E, right? E for Ezekiel, but the big E that affects us in all trading is emotions. Emotions, without a doubt, it's one of the biggest factors that affects us in trading. So I like to, in this weekly series, I like to cover what works and what doesn't work. I would like to be as real as possible. I like to go beyond the theory that you will find online. So I'd like you all to, for example, to ask me questions like, what does an actual trader actually do? How does he actually analyze the market? How does he actually handle his emotions? I do not want to cover, for example, textbook answers where it could be an article writer that is talking about emotions. I like to be as real as possible. So emotions is something that really affects every one of us. Even up to today, I've been trading for at least 15 odd years, and even up to today, emotions still do affect me. After all, I'm a human, right? But of course, I have set myself to cut down on the emotions as much as possible. So the things that I do, for example, are things that would affect me emotionally. For example, let's say I had a quarrel with my spouse, example, right? That is going to be upsetting. So that is something that when that happens, I know it's going to affect my very own mood. And if that happens, I know that if it's going to affect me, myself mentally, I will not execute the trade that day until I've calmed myself down or until I've settled the whole issue itself. So for example, this is something whereby I have been through in the past where I have such misunderstanding and such ongoing anger inside me, and then I execute the trade, and then what? I lost the trade, I got even more angrier, and then I went to, for example, throw my rage on my spouse. See, you caused me to lose so much money, right? So this is just an example, calling your spouse or calling your families or anything that affects you emotionally, your anger. If you feel stressed out, if you feel angry, stop trading. Trading has to be a point whereby it has to be calm, it has to be peaceful, it has to be stress-free, such that you're able to analyze the trade as it is altogether brand new, without any interfering emotions that somebody else has given you. So, for example, that's one example. Or another example could be whereby I have 3 losing streaks in a row. I just lost 3 of my last trades. 3. That hurts. It hurts a lot. Okay, maybe not a lot to me right now today, because I mean there will be wins, there will be loss. But at the end of the day, I know that my system will have bigger wins, that the bigger wins will cover my smaller losses. So that is fine. But for example, if I have a series of 3 losing trades in a row, it is going to affect us mentally. And if you carry that losing streak, and if you that dejected feeling, that revenge feeling that we may feel at times, and if you carry that feeling onto the next trade that we are going to embark. If, for example, I lost the first trade, I lost 1,000, second trade another 1,000, third trade another 1,000, so I lost $3,000 today. And then I would like to get back my loss today. What do? I would likely go and hunt for a new trade, right? So this is something that if you're out there hunting for new trades, what will likely happen? Very likely, that trade that you wanted to use to cover back your 3,000 loss will end up with an even greater loss. So losing trades is something that affects us. Winning trades is something that affects us as well. If I have a series of 3 winning trades today, so then, wow, I feel that I'm on a lucky streak, isn't it? I feel that I'm on a lucky streak. I feel that, for example, if I have 3 winning streaks in a row in bowling, right? It's what we call as 30. So then I'll feel that, hey, since I'm on a lucky streak today, perhaps I should capitalize on my lucky streak today, and I should enter another few more trades so that I can make as much money as possible today itself. And what happens after which, as you know, when you feel that you're lucky and then you go out entering more trades, you end up losing what you have made early on. So these are just some of my examples. So I would like to say that each and every time you enter on a brand new trade, you need to have a fresh mentality. Every trade, you need to enter with a fresh mentality. Regardless of what happened before the last trade. The last trade, be it a win, it's alright. Be it a loss, it's alright. It should not affect your thinking, your analytical skill for this specific trade itself. You should only enter on a trade where you deem that it is a good trade that fits your trading system. So for example, there will be times whereby what else affects our emotions? I like to just try to think of the scenarios that I see myself facing. For example, you yourself face as well, which you can send me an email as well. Just let me know what are the scenarios of what affects you emotionally, and how could we tackle that? I mean, at the end of the day, trading is something whereby I believe if you are really trading, for example, plus minus profitable, plus minus break-even trader, or maybe a slightly negative trader, if you could just not find more trades, if you could just cut your mistakes, cut away your mistakes, you will realize that by just eliminating those mistakes that you make, it will actually increase your profits. Don't go and bother yet to look for the next wonderful strategy out there. Don't go and bother to look for the next holy grail out there. The holy grail, the great strategy, will not work unless you fix your inner problem yourself. So for example, emotions is one of the biggest killer for a lot of us. Every time when I go in on a brand new day, every single day when I want to trade, I will just clear off my mind, right? Every morning, I do a little bit of meditation. Meditation has nothing to do with religion, right? It has nothing to do with religion whatsoever. It is just getting yourself a calm sense of mind on what should you expect, what do you want to accomplish today. And that is something that keeps me going, be it in Forex, be it in business, be it in life, right? So this is something that I do where I clear myself, and then I look to see the trades that I wish to enter. So this is something that I go on the next series on how I go on the back end of how I execute my daily trades itself. So today is about emotions. So I would not like to make my weekly videos too long, right? So let me know what affects you emotionally, the scenarios that you have faced, for example, the scenarios that you face ongoing that you feel that, hey, this is something that is really causing me, or an example that you have faced earlier on that perhaps has caused you a blown account. It happened to me before. So do share with me, and I'll be looking to go through them and how can we fix them as an ongoing basis, such that the next time when we see such a happening once again, we know what to do to deal with ourselves, to deal with our emotions, because emotions is probably the number one killer in Forex trading. So I'll see you all, and I look forward to your comments, your feedbacks, and what affects you emotionally.